I was having lunch with a close friend, and she started out and she goes, Lee, hear me out. Anytime she says, Lee, hear me out, I know that this is going to be an interesting conversation. She says, You know, I lead software teams, right? I said, Yeah. Part of the territory is people, CEOs, stakeholders, customers, wishing we could just move faster. I'm often asked, Do you think the team has a strong enough sense of urgency? Or the direct, Can you make the team feel a stronger sense of urgency? More often, the request is more subtle but just the same. I'd really like to get this one project done, but it's not a top priority. Can you find a way to hustle and make that happen? So, to all of you out there wondering, no, I'm not going to try to create a stronger sense of urgency on the team, and you shouldn't either. A sense of urgency isn't always the goal. Trying to create urgency reflects the age old confusion of hurrying with speed. The misguided notion that you're not always hurrying, you're already behind. If you're not working on a product every day, and frankly, even if you are, it's easy to believe projects should move faster. After all, we all want fast. There's always more to do than we can ever accomplish. The cup is always full. Moving faster would get us there, but if the team is just hurried a little more, we wouldn't have to make tough choices. I don't know about you, but as anyone who's ever forgotten their keys in an effort to get out of the house on time knows, hurrying often backfires. Your panicked, frantic pace values action over results and has immediate consequences. The consequences are simply shortcuts and sloppiness. In theory, professional engineers, designers, product managers would always churn out professional work, refusing to take shortcuts that would compromise their output. In reality, we all carry a desire to please our jobs, depend on a willingness to adapt the direction of the company. Even a top-notch team isn't immune from the pressure, and little things start to pile up. Small UX issues we don't have time to fix, less than thorough test coverage, failure to monitor key processes, and technical debt for a new feature. It all boils down to a few simple things, right? One of the consequences is limited space for creative solutions. Constant pressure to hurry reduces our ability to be proactive. We don't take the extra 20 minutes or 15 minutes to understand a design intent and cut out several days of work. We try to jump straight to deliver and run into issues. We fail to realize a browser extension is altogether the wrong solution and we need to stop investing in it. Stepping back takes time, so it's often discouraged in pro-urgency environments. But in these minutes or hours or weeks, it'll save you months and years on a long haul. Another is micromanagement. Trying to create a sense of urgency takes effort. Are people coming in early? Are they staying late? Is enough work actually being produced? That's a lot of work for a leadership team, and they should be focused on bigger, deeper issues. Furthermore, it undermines trust with the team. Be careful dismissing this point too quickly. Even if you never micromanage, you could be creating the wrong incentives for managers in your group for them to micromanage. Another is that you can see when things lose their potence quickly. Artificial urgency for milestones loses its potency quickly. Over the course of a job and over the course of a career, for experienced software engineers and designers, the folks that you can get the most wisdom from, it comes off as amateur and doesn't inspire long-term loyalty. Sometimes this takes over communication streams. When communicating urgency is the highest priority message, more important messages like, why are we taking on this project? Or who is this really going to benefit? Those questions never get asked. And the very messages that get the greatest results are the ones that are often drowned out. So let's retire a sense of urgency and instead try to look for something called a sense of purpose. A sense of purpose is a deep understanding of the reasons behind our efforts and a desire to pour in time and energy because that purpose resonates with the impact we'd like to make in the world. A sense of purpose is immersion in our cause and allowing that exposure to motivate action. A sense of purpose is about going faster and smarter toward a mission that we all see clearly. It's about using good judgment because we all understand the short and long term implications of our actions on what we're creating together. A strong sense of purpose manifests when an engineer watches a potential customer struggle with a workflow and stays late to make a change that makes it easier. It shows itself when a designer spends a little bit of time on their weekend on a few extra little small tasks because they felt engaged with the problem at hand and wanted to produce a better solution for the end customer. It turns out when you stop looking to create urgency, the passion and purpose latent in your team will cause things to kind of function just right, and people want to get things done at their own pace, a right pace. Crafting a sense of purpose is way different than creating a sense of false urgency. A team with a high sense of purpose can look a lot like a team with a high sense of urgency. The output is usually high, people are engaged. The critical distinction is what you do as a leader has very little overlap. Creating a sense of urgency is about deadlines, nagging, and sheer speed. Fostering a sense of purpose is completely different. It's a collaborative endeavor, and it requires trust that your team members will translate their sense of purpose into increased effectiveness. Your primary job as a leader is to hire the right team and then to spend time inspiring their sense of purpose. You need to help people really understand the impact of their work. And if you do that, the speed will follow eventually. I think too many times we get so locked up in that sense of urgency. And there's so many times where I want to tell people, your crisis doesn't mean, or your emergency doesn't foster, a sense of urgency on mine. Your crisis or sense of emergency doesn't foster urgency on my part, right? It doesn't foster me to move faster. So when you have a crisis or emergency, it doesn't equal my urgency. I guess that's what I was trying to say. And I think that when we get to that point and people start to understand, that's when we're going to get better results from Agile. So that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.